Back to that earlier interview now, to speak to us, we have Karen Pillay about why gender-based violence is still such a pervasive problem in the country. Karen is an independent development practitioner with special focus on the rights of women and children. Karen, when we left off, you were telling us about why you think that we need to focus on stronger security on campuses as well as also looking at issues around rape culture that exists in the country right now.
That's correct, Kesni. We need to work towards, as I said, sensitizing men from an early age, as young as primary school, on gender norms and standards, on women's rights and sexual and reproductive health rights. No means no. We need to take swift action on the sentencing of rapists and fast-track cases through the criminal justice system. There needs to be more prosecutors and dedicated SABC teams that tracks, arrests and sentences perpetrators. And I think we don't have enough harsh sentences imposed on perpetrators. Therefore, sexual violence is so prevalent in our society. And, I mean, if we look at the campus security, it's like closing the stable door after the horse has bolted. There's a number of demands that they've submitted to now, but surely that should be any institution, public institution that has female students, male students, because they're also at risk. So any public institution should actually have ongoing improvements to their security measures. If students are working late, there should have been a security outside the door of the lab they were working in.
Karen, often rape survivors saying they have to do battle with doctors, police, psychologists and the courts to get the justice they deserve and to protect the next woman or child. How do we address these levels of insensitivity?
Okay, so the lack of knowledge, understanding and capacity of stakeholders support survivors becomes barriers to survivors reporting and taking action against perpetrators. They become exposed to secondary victimization. We must have more collaboration among key role players. And I'm talking about government and the NGO sector. There's huge gaps. We need to address the gaps that currently exist. There's an NGO forum that's compromising key partners. They provide services to survivors working on women's rights. They currently monitor the multi-stakeholder service delivery model of the Tutuzela care centers. A recent study indicated huge gaps in coordination of services. So now we need to ensure that these gaps are addressed in providing services to rape survivors, because it creates challenges for survivors accessing services. Those recommendations that came out of the study to improve collaboration must be implemented and monitored. You do have NGOs working tirelessly to ensure that action is taken against perpetrators. And that they are given trauma support and care, including PEP services. Their efforts need to be supported financially and through partnerships with relevant government departments.
Why is gender-based violence such a persistent problem that permeates the very fabric of South African society? What are some of the contributing factors that we should be looking at?
On top of the list is the age-old driver of patriarchy. We also need to look at the fact that South Africa has wonderful, many laws, policies, regulations on the rights of women, and it's aligned to global standards. But there is little or no monitoring of implementation of the laws and policies. Cultural norms and practices contribute to the culture of women being deemed of no value or little value. Too many role players are duplicating services and campaigns that are counterproductive, and that results in a lack of harmonization of services at all levels. And then you find that the lack of resources and especially financial budgetary allocations to prioritize and escalate efforts to address women's safety and security. These are some of the key drivers. But we have to look at from a home scenario, a community scenario, from workplace environments and from social environments. There is prevalent throughout all of these. There is a culture of women being made to look subservient, women being dominated, bullied, that women are considered the lower of the species. So these type of subjugations happen often.
Thank you. Karen Pillay, independent development practitioner, joining us there on the line from Johannesburg. Thank you for sharing your insights with us on the SABC News Desk.